It's the FooRcast. Me, Gavin Ford.
Aki.
Double T.
Sweet baby double it. The first podcast where Owen wearing shorts is actually acceptable.
Yeah, because it's boiling today, isn't it?
Well done, Owen.
I think they've all been acceptable.
Well
First
done.
podcast that we should have filmed outside.
We've had a question. We've had someone ask us a question. They've messaged in. If you've got any questions, you can send it to weare4@gmail.com or message us on Instagram. Wherever. Get a hold of us, wherever. Write us a letter, postcard, anything. We're happy to do it.
Postcard.
Their question is as follows.
Telegram.
As follows. Sorry, I'm just going to move that there. Our question is as follows. Hi, guys. Hope you're well. Why does Owen keep wearing shorts even though it's freezing? Wow, it's an interesting question.
Answer the first question, I am well, thank you. Answer to the second question is because I'm hard.
Well,
I'll be honest with you, I wish I wore shorts today.
The first day, it's weird that question comes in the first day that you actually should be wearing shorts. Of course, I'm joking, of course. Hi, guys. Hope you're well. I'm recently starting a new alias and starting again. I'm trying to look for a distributor that can set up an artist page on Spotify before the song comes out so I can pitch it to them. Do you know any that do that? That's question one. Also, what would you advise I do for the new songs? I'm very passionate about these songs and want to get them out there. I have a PR company involved to get press and playlists. I'm paying them £1,000 a song. What else would you advise I do for these new songs? Oh, lordy.
Good question.
2 questions, mate.
Two very good questions, sorry.
We'll go from the top. We'll work from the top.
Hmm.
Because this is...
We've spoken about it a bit before, starting a new alias always puts the fear in me.
There you go. Kicked it off from the top.
That's the first thing, because you spend, I don't know, obviously don't know who this artist is, but they may have spent the last 5 years or so building up a catalogue of music and within Spotify's algorithm and building a following off the sound that they have. And starting again just feels like a huge risk to me.
I agree, yeah. I assume that obviously the music is different, but if she's a singer, it's still going to be her singing the new songs, so I agree that I would stay on the same platform. But she obviously feels that it has to be different. I'm not completely against starting again, because, you know, sometimes it's good to start again, but that's more in life than in music, I think. Like, you know, it's good to be at the bottom of a ladder you want to be at the top of and stuff. But I'm with you, Owen, like, music-wise, it's not going to be... You're still going to sound like you. Still going to think... Obviously, you've recently changed genres, kept the same alias, and your song is the most... It's not the most streamed, but probably the most successful in a period of time.
Yeah, by far.
So, because it still sounds... Even though it's a different genre, it still sounds like you. So that's people are still listening to it. So if you're a singer or a dance music artist, if you've got your own style... I think it's going to transcend genre, isn't it? And people are going to be into you for you and like you. And I guess, but if you're a singer, then you don't gig the old songs. I don't know.
I think there's definitely a way you can do it. As a singer, is it easier as a singer? If you're active on social media and you do like a big clear out and you start fresh and then you get really active on social media, people will begin to pay attention. So if you build up a lot of hype before your first release, when that first release under the new alias kicks in, you've got a lot of eyes just on one thing, rather than having to go to their Spotify and look at all their old stuff that they don't want you to look at. They just want you to look at their new sound.
Yeah.
So how like, if you're going to change your name and you keep the same followers, what's the best way to announce it or tell them that you're doing it? Like, what's the best way?
If you're keeping the same name?
If you're keeping, like, say...
Keeping the sound, changing the alias.
Yeah. Or... Some people might even start a new page or something, but
but it just seems like a lot of work, doesn't it? And you're building up a thing, and I think like the more we talk about the thing, like if we just said this is our new single, and it sounds, and people go, oh, this sounds different, and they either like it or they don't. I don't understand. If you start a new name, you say you're creating a load of work. If you're really, really passionate about it, of course, do it. But like I say, we don't know the ins and outs of the new brand, but we release drum and bass and we release garage music, and we release enough music, the algorithm works out the thing. And even on our social media, I spot that posts where we're talking about different types of music reacts to certain different audiences. So the algorithm will find the sort of music regardless of the name. Social media, you have your one name.
We had someone recently who's had an alias, released a bunch, then changed their alias, started fresh, and then we moved their tracks from their old alias to their new alias. So that way you can be a bit more picky with, I like this track from my old alias.
Well, yeah, I
mean,
new one. Yeah, you could do that. Also, what you could do, start addressing the second section. If you haven't found a distributor that can start a Spotify page before you do it, which I think you can do because I think someone from Sounds of Southampton did it.
Yeah.
Harlow did it.
Yeah.
So it is
I've
possible.
not seen that before.
But I don't know how he did it, and we've never done it before. But also, it's not a huge deal because if you've never released a song before, to be honest, you're not going to get a Spotify.
Well, that's what we did with Banquet, isn't it? Banquet had never released before, but we knew that we had a run of singles with them that we wanted to kick off at the start of the year. So we put one track out in November, and it had little promotion on it. And then when they came in fresh on Ones to Watch at the start of the year, focused everything on that. So then...
And that track did really well.
Yeah, and then that they've got a Spotify already that people can go and...
So yeah,
follow.
you can do a track just to start and warm it up. But yeah, also you can do a track to start, warm it up, but also collab with your old... whatever your old name is.
Yeah, that's another technique we've used before, isn't it?
So then you can use the release radar, the fans of the first person you can put with the second, your new name. Because also you're going to get more traction from your old release radar. And as you say, what you can do is you can move some of the songs over. You can collab with yourself for the first... I think they said in the email they've got 3 songs. You can collab with yourself and just take yourself off after a month or so, or 2 months or 3 months.
Your distributor's good and is on it. Doing things like adding an artist, taking an artist off is not a bad. It's not a difficult thing to do.
What's the best way of promoting that you're changing name like to your followers already? Like what's the best way to tell them, or how do you go about that?
The example that comes to my head, not about a name change, but sort of like a reset, is everyone online always knows when Stormzy's about to drop something,
right?
Because he clears his social media,
right?
So if people screenshot, it'll be on Twitter or something. It would be like Stormzy's just got rid of all his posts. That means that he's doing something.
Yeah, we did that after the start of lockdown, and it did work. Like people think, oh, yeah, it does.
I think you just got to maybe need like a quiet period, so then you can reset, rebrand, come in with some fresh visuals, fresh press shots and things like that. So
I think you got to come back in
people
with
know
fresh
that you're making a noise.
But if you've got an engaged audience, it's only going to be those that really they should pay attention anyway, shouldn't they? Like if you basically, but being an artist, you're building a foundation. That foundation should be paying attention. But you can't leave it too long either. I don't think. I think if you leave it too long and you're coming back with a new name, it's all going to be a bit too like.
I'm just assuming in this instance, she's clearly been planning this for a while. I would assume that maybe she hasn't been very active while she's been planning this new change.
No, I don't think so.
You think the opposite?
I don't think she has been busy.
Oh,
no.
sorry, right. Yeah, so I would assume that she hadn't been very busy. So then anything she does now would be the first thing that her followers have seen in a while. So then naturally, like that core audience is going to take interest in it.
Yeah, I agree. So
I
think
agree. You don't want to leave it too long.
I feel like if you've done a release like the last week or so, then you've just come out. I'm changing my names a bit, kind of like. So you want to give it a bit of space before you kind of announce it.
Yeah. So I think for the Spotify question, do a song that you can afford to not lose, but isn't the big push ones, and collab with yourself.
Yeah.
Or save the collab for your first big one, but definitely collab with yourself on.
Yeah, you never want to put something out that's not like a good representative of your sound or something. But you kind of, if you want to do it that way, and you don't have someone who can set you up just a blank profile, you kind of need a song that you can just have up there so the profile exists. Yeah,
because you say we did that with Banquet, and that
it worked for Banquet as well because they were smashing out the free downloads, so we could get everyone who was downloading it to follow them on Spotify. So before their main first release comes out, they've already got.
Do you think it's good to do like a free download first, just to push your new sound or your new?
I don't know about singers. I don't know how. We never really figured out how to do free. Obviously, SoundCloud is an amazing tool.
You said before about using SoundCloud as a tool for singers, that they kind of should use it as like a voice note platform where people can put ideas of songs or recordings of them putting songs on there.
You can put demos and stuff that you don't think work. Like you can put stuff up when you got an engaged audience, but there's no need for people to download it. It's like DJs have to download it to things, which drives it. But I agree. Putting ideas and voice notes and stuff on it. Not voice notes, but demos or records or things because sometimes like something could take off and you go, I'll finish that.
Yeah, I've seen a thing on TikTok recently. There was a violinist just says sample this and just plays a bit like empty, and then you could sing it. I haven't seen singers do it yet.
I've seen a few singers put out acapellas.
Right, yeah.
So it's the same principle. If you put out acapella with a download gate on it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
if you're comfortable with your
music.
If
you're struggling to find producers, it's not a bad way to try and find a collab, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I would if I was a singer, I would make my voice available and put it. You could put it on SoundCloud. You have to download it from SoundCloud, but you have to like the original on Spotify to think.
Like just follow the Spotify if it's something new.
Yeah, and just because you just need, it's the same sort of process as a DJing thing. You want people to be hearing your voice at the start. So yeah, that's something I would 100% do. And then the third question was spending £1,000 on PR. What should she do to promote the thing? She's spending £1,000 on PR, and what else should she do? So I don't think we talked about PR before, have we?
No. The £1,000.
What are you guaranteed
per
from
track
that 1,000?
scares
What are
me.
you guaranteed from that £1,000? That's the question.
You're not guaranteed anything from
That's what I'm saying.
for PR. So like, not going to knock PR. I see people just knock PR companies and say PR companies are dead and stuff. I don't think they are. We've got an excellent PR company for Garage Shed, and they've done an excellent job on the China EP we've done. We've just done the first ever Garage EP from China. Well, we're in the middle of releasing it.
It's called Slithered Grooves.
Slithered Grooves. Search it up.
Very
Put
good.
a link in the thing. And we're getting good for that. But that's because it's the first ever of its kind of something. So there's a story there. So so they do a great job. But we've also had other PR companies where we've just released a song. So say Nights of Our Lives, we had a PR company on that, which has gone on to, it's over 20 million streams. So it's obviously a good song. But we didn't get any press because there's no story. It's with a singer that at the time no one had heard of. With us who cool people have heard of. But what's the story? What's the story of this song? There's no story. It's just a good song. So that's not press worthy. You're not going to read you don't see the headline.
Full release song, and it was good.
Yeah, good song comes out. 70,000 songs come out a day or something stupid. So I was told by Wes Saunders at Defected when he kindly gave me his time and gave us advice, PR wise, because a lot of our artists want it, because artists want to everyone wants to have people write about them and talk about them. But he said, unless it's the first DJ set on the moon or something like that, people aren't going to write about it. And that's the first thing. If you've got a story, if your new thing is the first artist on the moon or the first this or the first that, and there is an angle, and imagine what story would you saw a headline, a clickbait headline, what sort of things do you read? And what is the headline? What is the angle for the PR company to work? Because also, you can say PR companies are dead, PR companies are dead. You've got to give them the angle to go out and sell it anyway.
Yeah.
They're not miracle workers, but obviously people need money. They've got contacts, and some of the PR companies might say, yeah, we'll try, knowing they're not going to get anywhere. We've got an excellent one. She also said they're going to do playlist stuff, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this before either, but you can't pay for playlists. If people own playlists and they're charging you to go in there, it's bad news, because they're putting in anything that anyone that pays. There's no sense of algorithm. There's no sense of pattern. There's no sense of thing. So it's just completely wasting money. Your algorithm is your friend, which is why we said about tagging in your old artist profile for the first ones, because then people like that, if they listen to it and they don't like it, your old new stuff, fine, they'll click off it. But your stuff is a new genre, but it was similar enough that people must have liked it because it was your quickest thing, and it's engaged, and you engaged some of the old audience as well.
Yeah, it wasn't like an offensively different sound. It was
it sounded like
one of my tracks just sped up.
Yeah, and I'm sure her tracks have elements that sound like, well, she's singing in it.
Well, yeah,
it's her writing, it's her singing, it's her.
Are radio pluggers still a thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can.
Do you think that they might play this? They might be talk about radio rather than
the idea for radio now, as far as I see it, is it used to be you get a radio plugger and you go, right, we're going to come out on this date, and they try and get you premieres and stuff. Now we had a radio plugger again for Nights of Our Lives, which was again 18 million streams, over 20 million streams, sorry, and it got plays. Cyan Anderson and
Target
player.
Was it Target or
Jeremiah Asamaya, which we've just had a mix for, and his name kept tripping me up when I was doing the things for it. So we're getting plays. Molly Collins were specialist shows, and then I think Danny Howard, who's obviously regarded as the biggest show, was oh, this is great. You just need a few more specialist ones. So we paid a plugger for those, but all of those people are people that we mail to anyway, so we do ourselves.
I was just saying that because years back when we first started, it was quite important, wasn't it? We sit as a radio plugger. We used to go.
Yeah. Now it's it's being played. Now you go to a radio plugger and go, this is being played on the specialist shows. Yeah. Can you take it further? And then they try and get the daytime ones. Right. They try and get more. You don't you can do and go set up a premiere if you've got a big artist name and stuff. So I wouldn't pay that. I mean, the most if she's saying she's paying £1,000 for PR and stuff, we assume that she's already sorted content and videos and
Yeah.
artwork.
You'd be mad not to.
Yeah. So we assume that that's covered. So if you had £1,000 per song, and again, if you go back to our previous episodes about Spotify scores, you've got to build up Spotify score. The best thing to do, if you split £1,000 per song just on adverts, I mean, I'll have to ask our ads person how to think, but if you got a basic understanding and did it yourself, and you run £500 a month for 2 months, 6 weeks is what it takes to get you into discovery mode. If the song's good and if the ads are good. If you did that, you'd actually, well, if it took off in 6 weeks, you'd have money left over. Once the record's in discovery mode, then other people are going to find it. That's going to be much more beneficial than if people, if he did manage to get you press as well, they did get you an article about your project, how many people are going to read that article? Then how many people are going to read that article and go, I'm going to listen to that? And how many people are going to listen to that and then go, I like this, I'm going to save it? Where ads, you're going to reach people that like it. You're going to think, like, it's a boring answer, but it's.
No, I was just going to say, because say you haven't got a story behind the song and you don't, and obviously the £1,000 PR is not worth it. What's the best way to spend that £1,000?
Yeah, I think ads.
It's got to be
Ads.
ads, isn't it? Yeah, because that's the one thing with, like, it directly.
I think
puts
this is
your
a very
music in
valid
front
point.
of the people that are going to like it,
Yeah.
and it's just what's worked for us.
It just work. That's how you get in front of people. Like it's not a very sexy answer, but it's,
no, this is very good advice for people actually.
yeah, it's the way to do it. You got to get in that discovery mode, and
getting ads, doing ads has become a lot easier. Whether it's on Facebook, because you can do them through TikTok, you can do them through Instagram. You don't need to be like a specialist in ads to set a campaign up.
Yeah, I wouldn't do TikTok ads though. I mean,
I was going to say, what platform would be the best?
This is all Instagram. This is all Instagram ads.
Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook ads as well. We've done a bit of before. I've done some for my stuff, and they've reacted well. It's again, it always comes back to if the content's good, it makes the ad work better.
Yeah. So, but I would say we're assuming that has the money for content because she hasn't said anything about things. So the content, obviously, if you make a music video, you chop the content up, you try different parts of the song, you try different outfits, you test different adverts. When one advert works, you put more money on, you stop the other. It's like real basic science, but it works. And if you did 3 songs and you had £1,000 on each song, and then that runs and you're doing that over 6 months, 7 months, that's like unless the music is terrible, content is terrible, that's not going to fail. That sort of money on ads. It's a shame. Like I don't know the actual. I think if a good song, I think there's almost exactly the right amount of money to get into discovery mode. Maybe a little bit less. It depends how good your ads are and stuff. But
But then again, like, you know, £1,000 quite a lot of money to people. What is there any other way they could promote themselves without spending the money?
no,
So much money.
Create regular, good, consistent content.
Yeah.
And let people find you naturally.
Because obviously
Is that
there's people going to be interested in this who haven't got £1,000
what you
to
said,
spend on
trust
a
your
record.
algorithm. The more you put into Spotify, the more you get out of Spotify.
Yeah, you can just build up. You could build up a load more tracks, so you're hitting it more constantly. If you learn how to do the ads yourself, you can set it to anything you want a day. You can do £1 a day.
Yeah.
Like, and if you've got a good ad conversion, I think we've had like 8p per stream on a real good one. So if you think that's like not bad, obviously it can be expensive. It could be up to 20p a stream. It could be 20. Like it can go up and down to say depending on the song, depending on the thing. But yeah, you don't have to spend £1,000. It's just because this person has £1,000.
Yeah.
Like you can do if you've got a phone. You just got to do. I would do as much content as you can.
Yeah.
Try different adverts. I think I'd have if I was just starting. I think you've got to have money for ads aside to run. Otherwise, you start. When we used to release records 20 years ago, and it was vinyl releases. You had to save the money to press the record. You had to go get it mastered. See, mastering was a more expensive process than it was now because you used to have to go up there and sit in the room with the guy, or you could send it and you get like a acetate done. Then from the acetate you get the test presses. The test presses then you go to distributors, and distributors used to have to say yes, we'll take that and sell it to shops, and then they say we'll take 1,000. Say that's £1,000 in vinyl, which it probably was to do 500 white labels or thing. You'd have to sell £1,000 of the record to do your next one. If you didn't do it, you wouldn't make it. So I think if you're serious about music, you should say, right, I've got these records I really believe in, and you can have sort of stuff to build up. And you go, right, if this record goes, I've got £1,000 to put into adverts. So we've got things.
Yeah.
When our first song blew up, we put £1,500 into the video. We
Yeah.
put, and in the end, we just put loads of money into, just kept putting money into it. Thing, and we've put like hundreds of £1,000s into FooR to get where it is now. There's no free fix to it. So I think you should, if you're releasing records and you're serious about it and you want to be doing it as a career, you got to be saying, right, this is how much these records I believe in, and this is how much money I'm prepared to spend.
Yeah,
and if
budget.
your record isn't making back £1,000 each time, if you're spending 1,000 and not making it back 1,000, you need to either work harder on your music to get it better, or you're doing something wrong content-wise, or you need to look at what you're doing. Because what people do, why there's so many songs come out today, because one, it's so easy to make them, it's so easy to release them. People just chuck out music, and I hope the algorithm takes it, and like hope they get playlists, hope they do this. And then when people don't get playlists, they think, oh, I'm done. Like, that's not how it used to work. It used to work, you have to keep going until we've made that £1,000 back, otherwise I can't press another record. And I think artists need to have that mentality a bit.
Yeah.
I think they need to go back to, right, I've got to make this to turn the next one. And if you aren't making it, and you are putting the effort in, then look at what's going wrong. Keep going. Like, that's what we did.
Yeah. So yeah,
I think that.
I think there's some solid advice there for people out there.
Yeah. So obviously, if anyone else has got questions, like say we are FooR@gmail.com. All the info's in the info. You can message us anywhere, and we're happy to do this on a case by case basis. Any more questions on this? Let us know. And yeah, good luck with your new project.
Yeah.
Wallop.